Hey everybody, we are back with another review, and today we are checking out a pocket size, palm size EDC pack out for me in 2025. So without further ado, let's hop right into this review and let's check this thing out. So straight out the gate, it is a nice slim profile little pack out. It's a TOPO Designs pouch, which I've kind of altered and modified a little bit. So if you go to look this up, it's not going to look quite like this. It did have like a yellow tether back here, which I did slice off with a razor. I snipped off the YKK zipper end and ended up putting on one of these Gear Aid glow tether toggles, I guess you can call them, which I like actually better personally, because it's just less stuff I have to deal with. I mean, plus if I have the zipper, it's going to add like another, I don't know, half to 3/4 of an inch of dongle length that I don't need having on this. No, I don't need a long tether. But I do want something where if it's dark, I can see where this thing's at and I can easily grab it. That's for sure. You can see how thin that is. I did leave the red ends on here because the red ends are going to be nice. So I did want to have like a hook a carabiner onto it and then maybe hook it on my belt or something like that. But for me personally, I think this kit's going to work for 2025, which I'm going to pack this out for 2025. Then I'll report back next year, probably around this time in December, and let you know how this little kit worked out and if I took stuff out of it and if I put stuff into it. Now, I do have another video I am going to do about my pack out for this year. So I'm going to go through what I packed out this year and kind of why I changed up from something so large to something a little bit smaller. But look out for that video. That's going to be coming up here too. I like doing EDC stuff towards Christmas time because usually the end of the year and the beginning of the year is usually when I reform and reformat my EDC for the pack out for the year. So as you can see, that was a larger pack than this. I went with a smaller design because I also carry with me a operator attaché. So I carry my operator attaché with me, which has a lot of other tools in there. And this is more so for me to pack on myself personally versus have something that I have maybe in my truck or in the cup holder or that I toss in the center console. This is personally on me, and yeah, I'm going to pack this out. So let's check out what I put inside of it and the purpose for why I put it together, and let me know what you think about it. So let's open it up and we'll kind of check out some stuff in here. We'll take a little peek. I like the inside's got a nice little yellow lime look to it. I got two little matchbox style cases which sit next to each other, and then I have a little row of tools here in the front. No pockets or anything else in here, no hidden pockets, it's just that. So let's pull everything out and then we'll kind of digest what I ended up putting in here. And then we got, yeah, some good stuff. And then we'll kind of talk through each thing and kind of see and that's everything that's in there. So we've already talked about the TOPO pouch. I mentioned earlier about having a carabiner to hook on to one of the red loops. If I did want to take this and maybe take it out of my pocket and clip it onto a backpack or clip it onto something, I'm packing in a carabiner in here. I think it's worth the wait to have a deployable carabiner if I did want to hook that onto something. So it's not just solely having to be put into a pocket or some kind of, have to put into something, if that makes sense. So I have a deployable carabiner. I think that's important for sure. We do have two matchbooks. We'll go through those, but let's go through the other tools that are here. So we got the Baton 4 from Olight. This is an awesome tool. Love this. Got this in the Airplane Fighter colorway, which is really awesome, and it's got the gold with the metallic silver, all metal, typical Olight design for the bottom charger, which is nice. Tap it once to turn it on, hold it to change the brightness, which is awesome. I love the fact you could just tap this to turn it off. A lot of the times when I have a torch like this, I want to be able to just turn it off. I don't want to have to hit the button 5 times to turn it off and cycle through all the different ones, red blinking lights, flashing lights, everything, I mean, if I'm trying to be stealthy and turn my torch off, having to cycle through those, I think is a disservice, honestly. So that's what I really love about the Baton 4 from Olight. Next up on the list, we got some MEG, which is military energy gum. So what I carry out is 3 pieces with me. Those are actually, what are those? Cinnamon flavored. The other ones are green. But I did like the way this was formed, so I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to reuse the little wax pack. But each piece of gum is 100 milligrams of caffeine. If I'm on the go and I need to get home, because that's basically what this is a get home pouch with a couple of my normal EDC tools in it. But for the most part, some of this stuff's really just kind of get me home. Like, I mean, I don't really make fire all the time, but if I needed to make a fire or do something with a fire, I have my Exotac, you know, fire creation tool right here. I have all the things I would need. I have some tinder, I have a spark, and it's lightweight from Exotac with a flint. So, like I said, stuff like that. It's more so it's going to be a mix of get home / EDC, if that makes sense. And like I said, we'll see what we use. What we don't use, we'll pull out and we'll cycle it out. Next up, we got a nice little titanium pen. So I figure it'd be nice to have a nice little pen. Do I have a notebook in here? No, but there's a lot of times where you're like, man, I kind of just wish I had a pen right now to either sign this document, or maybe you're at the DMV or something and they don't have pens there or something, and it's convenient to have one for yourself at all times. And something like that's tiny and easy to pack out. Now, we talked about my other kit that I have with the Micra. This is the Dime. The Dime is very similar to the Micra, only it's got pliers, which is really nice, actually. The pliers are nice. It has a few other things, too. I mean, it's got tweezers, which are on this end. You got tweezers you can deploy right there, which is really nice. Flatten those out, and you slide them right in there. I mean, you could barely even make out that they're there. They're right next to the bottle opener. And then what else do we got in here? Let's pull these out. We got scissors. So kind of like how the Micra has scissors, the Dime has scissors as well. What else do we got in here? We got a little Phillips flathead file. Very nice. We got a little flathead / pry bar little file right there, which is very nice. And then on the other side, we have our blade, which is sharp. And then we have a little blade / hook / skinning knife right there, a little hook knife, which is really nice. So the Gerber Dime is a really nice little pack out. It's an alternative for me to the Leatherman Micra. The Micra, again, has it's scissor focused. This one is more so focused with the pliers, which is nice. And then that's going to pair with this, which is going to be my other EDC kit, which is going to be the 711L. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it is a really nice mini ratchet, super tiny. It's got 1/4-inch drive on the bottom, 1/4-inch drive for the ratchet, and the drive on the bottom allows you to basically have a little stubby screwdriver to work with, as well as doing your drive straight up like that. So 711L, I really like this. It's a really nice little pack out tool, and I love the fact that you could put one on the end there and get more leverage. So what did I pack out bit-wise? Let's see what I put in there for my bits. So we got some Phillips, some Torx, and a couple flatheads. And I think I have one Robertson's. I put one Robertson's in there. I got the Robertson number 2. We ended up doing Torx. What do we got? Torx 15 and Torx 20. Torx 20. What did we get? Robertson number 1, Robertson number 2, Torx 20, and then I did Torx 25. Torx 25. Slotted, I ended up throwing in the 6.8. Here's the 15. 15. Fingers are all beat up. It is wintertime here for sure. Fingers be splitting, all kinds of stuff. We got the Phillips number 3, Phillips number 2, and Phillips number 1. I'm pretty much covered on all bases. Between the Gerber and this, I could pretty much mess with minor fasteners. Most fasteners, but minor fasteners. I got some pliers here to help me out a little bit too. And then I also have a little emergency kit in here as well. So a little emergency kit, which is something that I'm not really busting into this all the time. This stuff is more so stuff I would use on the regular. The Exotac is just in there for good measure because, hey, I live in Colorado. It's cold out here. If I get stranded somewhere, I should be able to make a fire, or at least have the ability to make a fire fairly easy. So I do want to pack that out, and that's more like a situational type of thing. But fasteners, grippage, multi-tool, pen, fire, gum to give me energy, caffeine, 300 milligrams of caffeine in this one little pack, which is a huge boost. One is more than enough. I got the Olight for my light, and then we have a little emergency kit here. What's in my little emergency kit? This stuff is so freaking tiny. Let's do this. We'll lay out the tech mat lay out the tech mat, and I'll kind of we'll take everything out here. We'll lay it that way so we can actually see everything. It's a lot of little tiny stuff that I put in here, but it's all crammed in here. Now this is the cage, titanium cage, which has a topographical little design on the lid. It's got a little loop here on the top for you to be able to put a tether on there if you want to put it on something, like attach some kind of carabiner with a little nylon strap. You can do that, but this opens just like every single other one. We'll pop this, slide that open. I had it in there packed fairly tight. So in there you can see I have one of those pieces of gum smashed so that it'll fit in here, obviously. And then I'll just kind of pull everything out and lay it out. So in here, I have a little pill pack flattened, which is great. And I'll show you what we got in here. We have 2 aspirins. So 2 aspirins. I have an extra strength, what is this? Acetaminophen tablet. I have 2 electrolyte tablets, and this is a potassium iodide tablet for radiation. So in case I'm in Denver and there's a nuke going off, I could take that, and that will last me 1 hour to protect my thyroid. So it's basically one of those per hour. So I figure 1 hour should be enough to get home. I didn't really have room for 2 in here for good measure, but I also don't think there's a nuke going off anytime soon either. So 1's good for now. 2 electrolyte tablets are perfect. They're potassium-based tablets, so these are going to give you the body strength to be able to endure through something like getting home. It's going to give you the vital nutrients you need to do that. Fever, pain reducer, if you hurt yourself, sprain your ankle or something like that. These right here are going to be able to help you to get through that if you need to. Again, emergency. That's why the gum's in here and it's flattened like that. It's an emergency thing. This is like, I've depleted all my gum. I need an extra piece to get me home. There's an extra one right there. What else do we got? I got a small piece of paracord that allows you to have multiple different types of tinder in there, and it's all tight. I left one end burnt, but the other end I have to open like that so I can show you what the heck's in there. But yeah, there's multiple little cordage in there so I can use to, for tinder. I can use that mixed with my Exotac and start a little fire. I got a firecracker. Why do I have a firecracker? Well, firecracker could be a good little diversion. It could also be a distraction. It could maybe get you to slip away somewhere if you need to. Couldn't hurt to have it in there. It's so tiny. It's a good pack-in item. Next thing we got is your standard handcuffed key. Not maybe a handcuffed key for me. Maybe it's a handcuffed key for me to use for somebody else who might be handcuffed. Not necessarily going to be digging through this little kit trying to get that handcuffed key out, but if I needed to use it for somebody else, maybe so. I got 2 Strike Anywhere weatherproof matches, but I do have a striker strip in here. I'll show you as well when we get to the bottom. But I got 2 matches in here. Again, another redundancy for fire, but important. I got a blackout safety pin. You never know when you're going to need to, shortly repair a piece of clothing, or you need to clip something to yourself that you don't want to lose. Blackout safety pins, real nice. Here's my last redundancy, I think. Yep, last redundancy for fire. Got a mini ferro rod as well. So, mini little ferro rod. Let me show you this. This is, if I can get it to focus. Whoops. This is, dropping this everywhere. This is a piece of lead that I took. I basically split a pencil and took a piece of, not graphite is what it is. So a little bit stronger, but then lead. But this is a writing implement. This is going to allow me, just like the pen, if I just have this kit is self-contained. It's a portion of this kit. So this kit's self-contained. This lead, this graphite is in here for me to be able to write with this kit, not depending on the fact that there's a pen in the outer shell, if that makes any sense. So keep that in mind. Next thing we got is a 256 gigabyte SD card. Never know when you need to put some information on something or to carry some information with yourself. I got a striker for the ferro rod. Always good to have a striker so I don't have to mar up the other things that I have in here, even though other things in here could do it. That's dedicated and it fits. we have a SIM card removal tool / SD card removal tool, little metal one. So that's really nice to have that with us, especially if you need to get that out. That is a tool that could be worth its weight in gold if you need to get your SD card door open. Next up we have is a razor blade, standard razor blade. I taped the ends, as you can see, tape the ends so that the blade doesn't poke out the side and that this little wrapper doesn't come loose. So razor blade's always good, sterile for the most part. Just in here. Next thing we got is the Grimm Workshop lockpick bump kit / lockpick tool. So I put a little backer on there and it keeps it so that these little tools don't come out. And what else we got in here? We have a little sharpening honer right there, which I don't really know what I can use this for, but I could probably, in this kit, I guess I'm not going to sharpen the razor blade, but I could probably use this to sharpen my blade that's in my Gerber, though. That could probably help out with that. What else we got in here? Ooh, we got a little notepad. I actually made this notepad by hand. It's a 3 pages, as you can see, 3 pages. It's right in the rain. I cut the grid out, and then what I ended up doing was dipping the ends. I held the ends together with needle nose pliers. Here, I'll show you. Let me just show you. I've got a little demo one here that I did. I held the end here with needle nose pliers, dipped the end in the wax, and then it sealed the end there. And if I need to remove the pages, I can. They're really easy to remove, but they'll stick together with the wax, which is really nice. And they're already wax-coated paper from being right in the rain. So, yeah, just a little, if I need to write something down, I have the graphite, I have the paper. If I need to write down like a passcode or a gate code or a password, something that's like, I can't write it, I don't want to write it on my hand, I don't want to write it somewhere, I want to keep it. That's going to be perfect in an emergency. And it's dedicated. It's not like I'm like writing on the wrapper to the razor blade or writing on a Band-Aid wrapper. We got a little dice, or die, I should say. It's a 10-sided die. So a little 10-sided die. It's made of, I don't know, brass or something like that. Maybe copper. But yeah, little dice. Always good to have something for morale, if you would. We're going to call that a morale item. Maybe I'll just do that. Let's do that. There. All right. We'll talk about the striker. So I ended up gluing a striker to the bottom of this tin, which takes up like pretty much nothing in regards to, size and what it's doing, but it'll serve purpose for those matches over there, which is really nice. And maybe for other stuff, I might find matches somewhere else where I can use them on there. We got a bobby pin for, its multi-purpose needs. You can use that for a lot of stuff. I got a piece of copper wire. You know what you can do with this. You know that this can do a lot of stuff. This can do a lot of damage. This can start a fire. You can do a lot of stuff with this piece of copper wire. I have a stitch Band-Aid. So one Band-Aid, whoops, just flipping it out of my hand. One Band-Aid, just to kind of get me by. I'm not going to fit a full Band-Aid in here. It's going to take up too much room, and one Band-Aid doesn't really do anything anyway. But this might help if I get a nasty cut. That might help at least hold it shut for a little bit until I can get somewhere. Last thing in here is a nasal strip. The nasal strip is very important. Helps you get some air. If you're running, you're moving around, especially up here at 7,000 feet, the nasal strip helps out significantly. So this is my kit. I want you to let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of my kit? And yeah, I mean, what would you have in your kit? What would you keep? What would you get rid of? What would you add? What am I missing? What do you think? And I'll let you know what I think in a year, basically, when I review this again. But this is what I'm going to be packing out for 2025. Let me know what you're packing out for 2025 down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Want more content like this, subscribe for more, and have a great rest of your day.